Thank you for the tour on your factory. Yeah. Thanks a lot. And I have few more questions. For example, what the most interesting things through the years you had maybe on the factory, or just through the making guitars for 40 years?
Yeah, well,
in interesting situation maybe.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing is that it's still interesting to me. After all these years, it's a constant learning experience when you're making guitars. Because you're working with materials, organic materials, they're not all the same. And I think sometimes when you try something new, you expect a particular result. And sometimes you get exactly what you thought was going to happen, and sometimes it's very different, and you're just like, wait, why did that happen? And then you have to look back at what you did to try to figure out what assumptions did you make that were wrong, or did you just get surprised? Sometimes you just get surprised. There's a lot of things when you're making something where you do little incremental changes and you notice very small, oh yeah, that's a little brighter, that's a little, and you enjoy something about it, a little bit more. But every once in a while you'll do something and it'll be this giant step, and it's just, you're kind of surprised. Like when we changed to the neck pocket that we use now, from the old 4-bolt standard Fender style neck pocket. Originally, the idea why I wanted to change things was because, screwing two pieces of wood together that are flat, it's very difficult for them. Now, even if the neck pocket fits good, it can still move. I don't know how many times I'd been on stage and bumped into the bass player or bumped into somebody else, and then my guitar was totally out of tune because the neck just shifted, a very small amount, and it was out of tune, and the strings were not lined up on the neck anymore. So my original idea was I wanted to make a shape of the pocket so that there's nowhere for it to go. It only fits one way, and our pocket is a tapered wedge like this. So it can't move this way, it can't move this way, it can't move any direction. It's only one place it can be. So that accomplished that, but then the surprise was how different it sounded. And it was like, why is this so different? Well, it's in a normal neck pocket, it's really the bottom and the end are the only pressurized, that's the only place where the wood is really tightened. The sides, it's sitting there touching the side, but it's not really connected. And with this thing, you've got both sides of the bottom and the end that are all contacted, and we just noticed we were feeling the vibration in the body more than we were in the 4-bolt neck guitars. And then, so we started making more and more guitars this way. We made one model with that new neck joint before we switched to everything else. And we just noticed how much we were enjoying that difference. It wasn't.
Did you compare 4-bolt and 2-bolt construction?
Yeah, but
you're using 2-bolt. It's very specific.
But see, it's not about the bolts. It's about the connection.
Yes, I understand. But a regular guy, he just saw why this one has 3 bolts. Vintage Fender, another one 4, and this one 2. I don't understand why it's. What's the difference?
Well, so the point was, if the pocket itself is what's containing the neck, that's what's making it be where it is. It doesn't take much pressure to hold it there. When you're trying to hold something that's slippery, like this, back and forth, then that's difficult. So if you look at a Fender style, it uses wood screws, coarse thread wood screws that go into wood. But our 2-bolt system with the shape that holds it in place, those are fine thread machine screws, which means they can generate 10 times the amount of pressure. One screw can generate 10 times the amount of pressure that a wood screw can. So we've got multiple times more pressure holding the two pieces together with only 2 screws. And because of the shape, it's contained. So you know, people, well, how, yeah, it can't move. It's only can be one place, you know. We had a guitar years ago where a guy had, what's the right word? He had a girlfriend, and he was seeing somebody else also. He was seeing another girl. And the girlfriend found out about it, and she took his guitar outside and smashed it against the curb. He got what he deserved. I'm not supporting him at all. But, so the body was broken in two pieces, but the neck was in proper alignment and all the strings were still on the guitar. Even that.
It was
So,
crash test.
Wow.
so I think that was a case.
That's interesting situation
Well, yeah,
that I asked.
and the whole thing about the neck joint, you know, like the reason I did it was to keep it in alignment. But we got this sonic enjoyment out of it that we weren't expecting. So that's what I love about doing new things and trying things out. And it's those surprises that always make it so much more fun. You know, you can predict most things, you know, most changes you do. You can predict what's going to happen, but every once in a while you get a big surprise. And to me, that's a great surprise.
What's your favorite, I mean, Tom Anderson, your favorite model that you love more? I understand it's like your child.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I understand
That's exactly
it because
where I was gonna go with that.
that's what I feel the same with my guitars I'm playing. But anyway, sometimes you have your favorite model. For me, I prefer like single cut models more because of more low and low mids, as for me. What's your favorite? Do you have that
Well,
one?
I say it changes.
Yeah,
You know,
sometimes,
I
yeah.
go through periods of
Through
time
the
where I
years.
play one thing more and then another thing more. But I would say I tend to, I look at guitar players, this is a generalization, so it's not an absolute, but this is a generalization. There are roughly two kinds of players. There are people who always wish things were clearer and more defined and more articulate, you know, very defined, like a funk player. Very, very precise. And there are people who it's never smooth enough and fat enough and warm enough for. And I'm that person. So for me, like my guitars, I think I only have one guitar that has a maple top. I tend to gravitate towards guitars that just the body solid, one kind of wood body. I like, for a more Fender styled guitar, I like alder. I love alder. I don't like swamp ash. For me, that doesn't mean I love other swamp ash when other people play it, but it's not what I enjoy the most. So I have a Raven, which is our offset guitar. I have one of those in alder with a maple neck, and I played that guitar
Without top? Without top?
No top.
No top, just
No,
alder,
alder, no,
maple
no top.
neck,
Yeah.
maple fretboard, or the rosewood
yeah, all
one?
maple.
All maple.
And I played that guitar for 2 or 3 years, almost exclusively. And then I started playing, and it had our PQ, so the hum canceling P90 pickups in it. And then I started playing humbucker guitars, and I had a couple different. One was okume, one was mahogany. So okume is another mahogany-like wood, but lighter weight usually. And I had one of those with a maple neck, and I had one with a mahogany rosewood fingerboard neck. Same mild humbuckers in it, and a vintage tremolo. And those guitars got played a ton too. And then about a year ago, I started working on a new model. So we're calling it the Wolfhound. It's that pointier shape with the bevels on it. I don't know if you noticed them. There's been a few of them around the shop. It's a thinner body, like an SG thickness body.
Oh.
So very, very different guitar for us. So it's the one I've been playing all the time is a mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, and a Spanish cedar body. So it's very mahogany-like, and it has a tune-o-matic and a stud tailpiece. And 2 of the mild humbuckers. So it's got neck angle in it. like a set neck guitar would have because of the two pneumatic bridge. And that's what I've been playing a lot lately. Again, my first Gibson guitar when I was a young man was a early 60s SG Special, P90s.
I know the guitar.
Pete Townsend played those back then. He was my hero at that point in time. And,
Do you still have it?
No.
No.
No, I don't have any of the guitars I had way back then. That one amp in that brown Princeton there, that was my first amplifier.
Wow.
I got that brand new in 1962 when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And then I have my whole life had a love-hate relationship with tellies. When they're working for me, I love them, and when I can't make them work, I hate me because I can't make them work. So I struggle. I built myself one just recently again to try to get back into that because I miss it. Because there's a thing they do that's just different. But the our telly with single coils is a really demanding guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't be lazy. You know, they accentuate any mistake you make. You know, they show everything you do. So I would say that's
You have to play great.
yeah, you have
because
to
each
be a
touch.
better player. Yeah, every little thing stands out as wrong when it's not right. But I would say right now the Wolfhound is what's getting all my playing time. I have the one I described, and then I have another one that has it's a Bigsby style tailpiece, but it's the one that Duesenberg makes, and it works much better than a stock Bigsby. It has just a little more range, so you don't have to do this with it to get a little bit of tremolo, and it really has a nice range and stuff and feels really good, and it stays in tune remarkably well. So I would say that's, growing up I played Les Pauls and Tellys, so I was never a Strat guy. I owned a lot of Strats in my life, but they never stayed with me.
You just sold it.
No, and it was ergonomics more than sound. It took me years to figure out why I didn't like them. And the real difference is because a Strat has a longer horn on the top, to where the strap goes. A Strat does this because of where the strap buttons are. A Les Paul and Telly do this. And when I play a Strat, I feel cramped. I feel like my elbow is right up against my butt. I feel like I'm restricted. Whereas I feel like Telly or Les Paul, my arms are free and they just...
Yeah, I feel the same.
And I because I grew up playing Les Pauls and Tellys, my vocabulary, my sound vocabulary is a 2 pickup sound vocabulary.
Not 3.
I don't like the middle. Yeah, I hear other people play. I hear people play that, bridge and middle pickup, and I go, "Oh, that's a great sound." But then every time I play it, I go, "Oh, I hate that sound." It doesn't. It's not part of my vocabulary. It's like a language that I don't speak.
I understand you. Feel the same, absolutely.
So it's we are creatures of habits. Things that work, we enjoy, and I think I'm a 2 pickup guy.
Yeah.
It was probably 10 years ago that I made my last 3 pickup guitar, and I said when I sold it immediately after I built it because I didn't like it. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not making another 3 pickup guitar ever again, and I haven't.
Do you use the trem bar?
Yeah, I really.
Tremolo, you like it? Okay.
If I don't have a tremolo, I miss it.
And you said that you still play guitar. Do you have your own band where you play?
Not really. I have, there's some guys that are all my age that I've known for 40 years, 50 years. And we get together about once a month and we rent a big rehearsal hall and we go just play.
Just garage band?
Huh? Yeah. We play all the songs we played back then,
Cool.
And it's just fun. I play in church, and that's such a different experience because I can't use an amp. Everything has to be direct, and I just hate it. It doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't feel good to me. But I do it and enjoy it to some degree. But it's disappointing compared to when I get together with my buddies and we play louder. I mean, we don't play crazy loud, but it's still loud enough where you can feel it, and it's, you know, the amps are working good.
You know, that's the main thing, that you are making guitars and you also play them. Because like Leo Fender or Orville Gibson, it's just a brands for them now. And he never played or nothing with guitar. I mean, Leo Fender. But it's not too many losers for now in the world. I mean, with great brands who can sell 1,000 guitars per year or more. It's just that I know Paul Reed Smith, you, maybe few more. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, Bill
I'm not sure. John Suarez play guitar or not?
Yeah, he plays guitar.
He plays?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that.
Yeah, he plays. I mean, Bill Collings makes great guitars, but he didn't play guitar either. I think, you know, people that don't play, like Bill was a fabulous machinist. You know, he built tooling, and he was spectacular at that. And I think he relied on players' opinions that he valued. So I think, you know, I don't think you have to be a player to be able to make a great guitar. But I mean, for me, for all this time I've been doing this, I'm just trying to make the guitars I wish I had when I was 20 years old. I'm still doing that. That's still what I'm doing.
That's how I understand this thing. I'm not loser. I can do nothing with the wood. I just can sell. But I'm a musician. I understand that it's a main thing. When you want to make, I don't know, the best guitar, you have to play.
Yeah, I want to play them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. And I have the last question for you, that one friend asked me about me. He said, what's your favorite thing from your work? I mean, I'm selling guitars and I speak with people, I'm making shipping, etc, etc. He said, what the main thing you like from your job? Can I ask you the same for you? Do you have the favorite ones?
I love working out in the shop. I hate it when I have to sit at my desk all day. and it's either the finish department or the wood shop where some days I've had enough. I've been drawing on the computer and stuff, and it's like I gotta go out and work. I gotta go out there and do stuff.
Nice.
Because it's inspirational, you know, when you're actually working with stuff. Because that's what always inspires me to do something different. Is I'm looking at what we're doing, and it's like, man, there's some of the things we do are predictable, and because it's wood, some things aren't predictable, and you constantly, at least I constantly look at how could we do something differently so that it was more consistent or was easier to do. And I don't mean easier like I just want it to happen all by itself, but how do we eliminate some of the variables that we have to fix, you know, that we have to try to figure out why didn't this work well, you know? So the idea of, you know, some would call it production engineering, but it's how can we work smarter, as opposed to how can we, you know, taking twice as long to do something doesn't mean it's better. You know, if you're spending half your time fixing something that should have been done differently in the first place, then that's not better. So efficiency to me means how can we do this and get predictable results every time. That's more efficient than doing something really fast and then having to fix it and then having to fix it.
Yes, sure.
You know. Yeah. So for me, it's time spent in the shop is my favorite time.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot. Ну что, закончим на сегодня наше видео. Вы посмотрели, вот мы ничего не удаляли абсолютно из видео, все как происходило, вы все посмотрели. Смотрите, Том Андерсон делает гитары полностью под заказ, нет какой-то стандартной модели или что-то еще. Вы заходите на сайт и делаете полностью с нуля инструмент. Ну, теперь самое время зайти на сайт Том Андерсон, выбрать там дилера Ladkor Guitars и сделать все спецификации, которые вам интересны, а я вам уже подскажу, какая цена будет под заказ с доставкой. Я надеюсь, вам понравились эти серии видео, которые мы сделали. Мы на несколько частей поделили его. Ну, поставьте обязательно лайк, подпишитесь и покупайте у нас Том Андерсон и другие гитары. Все, до новых встреч, господа. Пока. Thank you.